Okay, peace. I think this is a time of redefinition for many of us, all of us. Um, I look at my life's practices of breath work and meditation and martial arts, health and wellness, herbs. All of these things have taught me discipline, the power of the mind, the power of my body, mind over matter. And at a time like this, I need those lessons more than ever. And in some ways, I feel I learned those lessons for a time just like this. Redefinition, redefining who you are at every level, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, business, you know, how we treat ourselves spiritually has a lot to do with how we identify who we are in our relationship to other people and nature. I see myself as a connected force, a force that is uh, never dying, always recycling and reemerging. And so there's a certain calm I have because I feel my consciousness will always exist. And there's an aspect of me that feels at peace in the chaos. But I do get enraptured from time to time because day by day things change and there's a lot of unknown. And the unknowns keep unraveling. And I think there's nothing wrong with some forms of fear. That's part of it. But I also feel that I've been able to tap into an aspect of my perception when it comes to death. And when it comes to death, what is death? What do we really perceive death as? Is there really death, or just changing from one form to another? There's an aspect of me that feels that no matter what happens, my consciousness lives on. So if I was to pass tomorrow, or a family member was to pass tomorrow, sure, if the family member is not here with me on earth, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to feel the loss. But I've had a lot of great people in my life pass, and I'm in touch with their energy when I need it. Um, Life is very transient. That's the nature of life. It's very transient. Nothing stays the same. And that makes me think of a lesson I learned years ago. I believe it was from Confucius, that always had people sitting in different seats every day in the classroom. You could never have the same seat as the day before. And the reason was to express the nature of transience, that everything is always changing, because we tend to get real comfortable. We love the idea of comfort. Who doesn't? But we like the idea that things are always going to stay the same. But they don't. Things keep moving. And so having peace with your death is having peace with your life. That no matter what happens, you take it a day at a time, you embrace everything you've experienced, and you're thankful for it. And no matter what happens, life was still always worth living. And the consciousness, I believe, lives on. The redefinition is really fascinating. Social media really took off in the early 2000s. Before that, Facebook didn't exist, and people were different. People spent more time with each other. Now I don't spend time physically with people in their presence, but I'm spending more time virtually. And so now I see Steve Jobs' role in this was partially due to being able to give people the opportunity at a time like this to still be in close contact with FaceTime in ways that we can still conference each other. So I believe now that was his part of what he was here to do. His mission was to give us these devices, the iPhone, the Androids, so that we could stay in contact and we can give each other information that's very useful. And so, redefinition, redefining what's important. You look now at social media, what's really important? For so many years, as social media has emerged and become more, you've seen people do a lot of flossing and a lot of, look at me, I'm here, I'm in Hawaii, oh, I'm backstage with this celebrity. And now none of that matters. None of it matters at all. First of all, we can't even do those things, so there's nothing to brag about. And when you look at the spiritual nature of things and why this is happening, it's really interesting. Because so now you have to ask yourself, what's really important to me? What do I really care about? Those are the spiritual, esoteric questions. The relationship is with yourself and also with other people. The business is also extremely important. You know, for me, I'm a gig guy, teaching dance, mentoring, sub-teaching, fashion, Uber, all of these various things I do, and I'm able to make a fairly decent living. And they were taken from me for the most part. I still do my drives, I deliver food to people now, but I'm also looking at online jobs, and I'm thankful to my good friend Paul, who gave me some links to some jobs. And I actually have a workshop tonight for being a teacher of English. And so that is something that's out there for people. There are other things that are out there as well. But again, I had to get into a redefining. Yes, English has always been a part of me. I'm an English major. And I've also gotten a certificate to teach English as a foreign language in Europe many years ago. And now that's coming back to me. I love to make music. I love to make beats. A few years ago, I really got into it. Well, now that's coming back to me. So now English is coming back to me. The music never left, but now the production aspect is coming back to me. Working out at home, being at peace with life and death, connecting with good friends at deep levels through FaceTime or on the phone, helping each other cope and get through. All of these things are redefinition, and I urge everyone at this time to find some peace and do what you need to do to find your peace. Because without your peace, your immune system will go down. And remember, take your vitamin D. If you're not outside getting this sun, I still urge you to go outside and get sun. You need vitamin D, you need vitamin C. Keep your immune system strong. Keep your mindset strong. Do what you have to do to find peace in your mind. And then actually you can get into a space where the creative thoughts and the spiritual beingness of your consciousness can talk to you. It talks to you all the time, but you're usually so busy and distracted with scrolling that you can't hear it. Well, you can still scroll, but you have a whole lot more time to yourself, and use it wisely, because we don't know how long this is going to last. And then there will be a reemergence into a new way of life. Things may not necessarily be how they were. I doubt it. But you will have done some work to get into this new culture, this new way of being, and let it change you forever and the people around you. So this is the time of redefinition. How are you going to define yourself in this new life?